This reflection is taken from the Gospel reading for November the 3rd. What would you do? If you knew someone didn't like you, was out to get you, to destroy your reputation, or maybe even your life, and had laid a trap for you, would you walk into it? The prudent person wouldn't. And yet, in Friday's Gospel, Jesus does the exact opposite. The Pharisees were out to get him, and Jesus knew it. They had tried verbal traps in the past, attempting to tarnish his reputation with the people. Friday's Gospel scene takes place on the Sabbath. Jesus is invited to dine with the leader of the Pharisees. The perfect storm is brewing. It's the Sabbath. We're in the home of a Pharisee leader, and there is a sick man present. Do you think the sick man just happened by, or maybe a plant? The host and the friends have set the stage, and there is no doubt about their conniving. Luke tells us they were observing him carefully. But the Greek word translated here as carefully more literally can be translated as with hostile intent. I imagine Pharisees and scholars of the law thinking to themselves, "He's walked into our trap. Now will he fall into it? Will he heal this man and break the Sabbath law?" Anticipation. Then in good Hebraic fashion, Jesus answers their unspoken questions with a question of his own. He asks them, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath?" This is a very practical and perfectly valid question, one that had been meticulously debated by the Jewish scholars. And the scholarly consensus is, no, healing on the Sabbath violates the law. The Pharisees and scholars remain silent at Jesus' question. With the sick man in front of them, Jesus has turned a theoretical question debated by the scholars of the law into a very personal question. Consider if you or your child were as sick as this man is, and it was the Sabbath, would you want to be healed? Jesus heals the man, then asks them, "Who among you, if your son or ox falls into a cistern, would not immediately pull him out on the Sabbath? Doesn't the law actually require you to pull your son out of the cistern rather than making him spend the night there? Which really follows the ultimate command of God to love God and neighbor." And Jesus, as always, not just talks the talk, but he walks the walk. Jesus healed the man with dropsy, yes, but just the act of accepting the Pharisees' dinner invitation is a great example of love in action. Jesus saves and wants all to be saved, even those who are out to get him. He is in the business of pulling his brothers and sisters out of the pit. De Caloris, be not afraid, your brother in Christ, Joe Sosnowski.